Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this session where we're going to continue to dive into the conversation about redesigning our college experience for our students as we look at ways to equitize the gateway courses, that we look at ways to, as Marvin Gaye said, to bring some understanding to this work that we do in serving students. And so this is a wonderful opportunity for us on this professional development day to look at ways we can not just look at what students need, but to look in at ourselves to find ways we can bring the best we have to the table for our students. So this is a work in progress, and it will continue to be a work in progress throughout the life of the organization. But we have a pivotal opportunity right now to really step up our activity, to step up our awareness, to improve the ways that we connect with students and with each other. So with that, I will just simply say thank you for being here today, and I look forward to the engagement that's going to happen. We have two people who have worked very closely together, Dr. Shante Deloche, Dr. Tiffany Dow, to create this curriculum for our equitizing the gateway courses. We have Guido Del Piccolo, Dr. Maria Munoz, who have worked together toward building and with our community, building out the structure for redesigning the way that we do and offer our services to students. Greg Brookins, good to see you this morning. I see emails from you from time to time, so thank you for continuing to reach out. And someone I've met today for the first time, Lori Williams, it's a pleasure to have you here, and our VPs, Teresita Rodriguez, Michael Tuatasi, and Bradley Lane. So thank you all for being part of this effort. And I see Dr. Janet Robinson is here. Janet, I think, did you say you had someone with you today?
Yes, Lori Williams and Greg Brookins.
Oh, those are the two you brought. Okay.
Yes,
I was, for some reason, I still had Lori in my mind. I'm thinking Lori Guglielmo, but she may be in the audience. But thank you all for being part of the panel today. So with that, I will toss this to Bradley.
Oh, thanks, Dr. Jeffrey. We're excited for everyone to join us today for this session on redesign. My understanding of part of the intention of today's session is to really reaffirm our commitment to doing this work and the need to collaborate with each other. I have to say, one of the things that I was most impressed by as I have been learning the college, getting to know the college, is this commitment to redesign as the way that we're going to ensure more equitable instruction and student services through a student-centered lens. It is really the set of strategies for years that we've embarked upon to improve enrollment and retention and student success. We are using redesign as the organizing principle for how we are investing in a lot of equity-driven professional development, and that's improving teaching and learning and work relationships. It is developing leaders, not only among our students, but also across faculty, staff, administrators. It's advancing the effectiveness of the institution, and it's ultimately creating a more inclusive, equitable, racially just climate here at the college. And one of the things I noted immediately upon arriving to Santa Monica back last summer was how far you've come already as an institution with redesign. You've done some of the hardest, most daunting parts of redesign already, particularly with the work that has been done with program mapping. That is huge, and it is one of the things that stymies most institutions. I was so impressed. I'm likewise so impressed with the design of equitizing gateway courses. As I've remarked to Dr. Deloche and Dr. Dowd, and to really anyone who listens, I think the scale of this program, the way that it is working with hundreds of faculty, even in the first year, is audacious, it's inspiring, and it's the kind of transformative work the institution has to keep doing. I've equally been really impressed with the way that the college has redesigned the academic foundations for the pathways in the work that's being done with pre-college English, math, and ESL, shortening those sequences, designing really intentional pathways to get students into college level English and math as soon as possible. And I've also been really impressed with the work that's being done around disaggregated data and analytics, with how the college is approaching data coaching, how it's approaching student learning outcomes assessment. I just think these are some of the things colleges across the country really struggle to do, and you're doing all of them. That being said, like Dr. Jeffrey has mentioned, there is still a lot of work to do. We're going to go forward. I think one of the places that we're headed inside academic affairs, and you'll hear my colleague vice presidents and enrollment services and student affairs say the same things coming up, is the attention to area of interest communities and what that's going to mean for the colleges, for the college. What I think academic affairs is going to work on, especially in the coming year, and we'll need to collaborate across the college, is how we evaluate the program maps we've created, how we use educational plan data to make sense of schedules that students are going to want to have, how we have more and more robust program level data so that we really can understand the programs and degree students are seeking and any obstacles inside those sequences, inside those pathways that we want to intervene around. And finally, how we engage faculty, especially around these areas of interest communities, so that they start to make sense to students. They start to impact the student experience. And we start to reorganize the work we do in academic affairs, in enrollment services, in student affairs, to match the fact that we have these areas of interest communities. I think it's intriguing, exciting, challenging work. I'm excited to collaborate with my colleagues. I'm excited to collaborate with all of you. We've done so much work already, and we have a lot more work to do. But it's daunting, but it's also really exciting. I think that's what draws me into this, and I'm happy to be here today. I'll pass things over to Teresita Rodriguez, the Vice President for Enrollment Development.
Thank you, Bradley. And thank you, Maria and Guido, for the opportunity to address the group today. So I want to start off just giving a shout out to the opening session and the student panel. They were amazing. And I think that they gave us a lot of insight that we can bring into this work. Some of the other things that we're learning at this time from students is this kind of just general discomfort with ambiguity. Because everything has been up in the air for really the last couple of years. Their resilience is just, awe-inspiring, but as is the college, right? So we did so much during the pandemic and shifting to this remote modality, trying to keep all the balls in the air, taking care of our students in bigger and more profound ways than we ever have before. And a lot of that work continues. But what that informs for this redesign is that we really, it's kind of a different world, right? And we, students really need some level of security. There seems to be some discomfort, when we poll students about enrollment, about making decisions too early because things are going to shift, right? We don't know what shift I'm going to get at work. I don't know if it's going to be in person or remote. I don't know. There's so much that they don't know that giving students a very clear path towards completing a degree or certificate or whatever their end goal is going to be really, really important, more important than ever. It was important when we started this work, and it's more important than ever as we move forward. And, in enrollment development, some of the things that we are trying to focus on is really how do we make areas of interest, that pathway, the things that students need to know, transparent to them at the start of their journey. We can go out and speak to students, and we have been, about AOIs. We can give them brochures, but it's not real to them until they can see it in their portal, until they can really see what that pathway is, and not just as a static document, but something that informs the decisions that they make and how they enroll. The other thing that we need to make transparent to them is how they engage with the college, and all of the work that's been done around student care teams that you'll hear about a little bit more further in this session is really, really important, but it needs to become the norm, not the exception, right? So in order to do all of that, we need to really truly redesign. And that means that we abandon some of the norms so that we can make room for this becoming kind of the new normal. I think that one of the things that has delayed our progress in this is that we're trying to continue to do everything that we've done before and had some level of success with, but not success for all. And we're really looking to elevate what we've been doing in this kind of care team modality and really giving students a really clear path. And so we need to decide at what point do we kind of just flip the switch, right? We need to decide what can we stop doing to make room for the things that we need to now engage in more, full steam ahead. And so, we need to shift away from some of the norms and, find a clear path for the college too, to provide a clear path for the students. That's a heavy lift. And that's really, really difficult because the students don't go away. The work doesn't stop, the teaching, learning, servicing our students, that none of that stops, right? But we've got to really decide on where do we truly make the shift, not continue to do everything we're doing and add this on top, but let's turn the Titanic in a way that we avoid that iceberg, right? It's really a heavy lift, but what the pandemic has also taught us is we can do anything. I mean, we did something that felt insurmountable at the time and did it with an amazing amount of grace and success, and I know that we can do this too. And I will pass this on to Michael Tuatasi.
Thank you, Teresita. So looking at the areas of student affairs has always been behind the redesign and done a lot of great work. In looking at our student population who's coming in, the goal is that every student will belong to an area of interest community. I think you heard from our students and how community is so important to them as far as their retention. So every student will belong to an area of interest community in which there will be activities surrounding that community. There will be counselors assigned to that community. There will be faculty involved in that community and developing that community, as well as student clubs and organizations. So really looking at the emphasis of how we build our areas of interest communities. I do want to thank counseling. Counseling has done a great job, but we have counselors that are assigned to the various areas of interest communities. We are looking at counseling leads for each of those areas communities so that we can start this team to build that area of community out so that all students belong to a community. Student care teams, something that we're very excited about and very proud of the work. Our student care teams really is our effort to target our Black, African American, and our Latinx students. So we reach out to all incoming freshmen as far as providing them this opportunity to be part of this student care team. And the student care team really is our cohort model to provide wraparound services for students. Students will have counselors, they will have financial aid techs that they can connect with. There will be peer navigators. You've heard from them, some of them this morning, that will reach out to them and connect with them. So really it is us tracking students to make sure that they're receiving the services that they need and then giving them specific names. So really also emphasizing more of a relational approach with the student as opposed to just a transactional approach. Other things that we are doing, we're looking at front-loading career services. So in our old model, career was something that was done later in a student's academic journey. This time we are really emphasizing making sure that a student belongs to an area of interest community and that they meet with a career counselor or get the career services that they need before they start at the institution or at least within their first semester here. Janet will talk a little bit about GPS as far as how we're going to use that as a tool, as an early alert system to help track our students as well as to help stay in contact with our students. And then also something that we're very happy about is our equity training that has been launched, and working as far as putting all of our counseling staff and faculty through an equity training to work with our students. We've also, when you come back on ground, we've changed a little bit as far as the way we're structured in the Student Services building. We've moved career to the first floor because that is now going to be one of the first steps that students go through. And we've moved all counseling to the second floor. We've also shifted our scholars program to be closer to our Black Collegians and Latino Center to build connections there, and really looking at ways to build community, not only within the areas of interest, but also within our special programs in serving students. And so moving forward, we're excited to build the AOI communities, both online and on ground, and look forward to once these communities are built and that we can roll out these great areas of interest. And with that, I will turn it over to Maria.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, VPs, President Jeffrey, for setting the stage for our campus redesign and for today's update on the redesign. I really appreciate you taking the time to do that with us today. Guido and I will be giving you a brief update that will then be followed by our DPS team and our EGC team. So Guido, do you want to go ahead and start?
Sure, yeah. Good morning, all. It's really great to be here and offer a brief update on the SMC redesign efforts and some of the ways that we are hoping to ensure that all of our students feel as supported as those in our amazing student panel this morning. They were great. We want to increase the number of students who are as connected, as Mike said. They all mentioned community, as connected as the panelists have been, and address some of the challenges that they've experienced at SMC that they shared with us today. But before we begin, we'd like to reach back to fall 2017. This is when SMC formed the first Guided Pathways Task Force, a cross-functional, cross-hierarchical group charged with figuring out what this whole Guided Pathways thing was all about and how it might be useful to improving SMC for students. Shortly after we began this work, the Chancellor's Office Vision for Success was published, and Guided Pathways Framework was established as the way to achieve the Vision for Success goals. So the college committed 4.5 years ago to use the Guided Pathways Framework to bring about transformational change for our students in the way that they experience SMC.
I want to first start by saying good morning to everyone. I hope your spring semester is off to a healthy, safe, and joyful start. And I too want to echo some of Teresita's comments earlier about the student panel. It was absolutely amazing. It gave us a lot of ideas for how we can improve our services for our students to help them succeed their self-defined goals, whatever they may be at SMC. It was such an amazing opportunity to hear from our students and the way to set the stage for spring, for sure. So to continue on what Guido has already shared, one of the reasons we switched from using the term guided pathways to using redesign was precisely meant to help all stakeholders understand that this is a comprehensive, holistic effort that impacts every aspect of the student experience. The redesign involves the transformation of the college. And in these 4 years, we have made some great strides, some of which we'll mention briefly here in this presentation to help us refresh our memories on what we have accomplished thus far. We also acknowledge, as President Jeffrey acknowledged in her opening remarks to the general session, that we can and need to do more to fundamentally transform the experience of our students. As today's theme points out, we have built many pieces of this effort that can bring about change for our students. What we need to do now is to put those pieces together, which is a lovely theme that we have for this session, because that's exactly what we're all trying to do, is put these pieces together and implement them in a way that can change the lives of our students, the way that they experience SMC, and particularly could create a sense of belonging for our racially minoritized students here at SMC while they spend their time and their academic journey with us.
So we continue to be excited and hopeful for change. As VP Rodriguez said, you know, it's about not adding on, it's about doing things differently, right? So we have built, as Maria said, some pieces and brought about some aspects of the cultural change required. but there are more pieces to build and tie together. SMC is good, even great. We know that, but we also know that it can be better.
Peter, do you want to move? Yeah, there we go. Thank you. The overarching goals of the redesign remain unchanged from those early days in fall of 2017. They still remain to reduce or eliminate our racial equity gaps, to reduce time to completion, and to increase the rate of completion for all of our students. We know the complexity involved and the need for cultural change and holistic comprehensive approaches to bring these to reality. And in this climate of enrollment decline and uncertainty for all of us, especially our students as they were sharing in their presentation earlier today, it is of utmost imperative that we recognize the importance of retention, persistence, sense of belonging, as ways to slow down the decline, increase enrollment, and help our students persist and complete to meet their self-defined goals. To accomplish the overarching redesign goals, we identified early on these 9 goals that I'm not going to read here, but they're all on your screen as areas of priority. Within these areas, with keeping these areas in mind, I should say, the redesign created, many of you have participated in various parts of the redesign, including our inquiry teams, our work teams, our student support squads, and our implementation team. Those resulted in some significant accomplishments that we'd like to just take a brief moment now to revisit.
As you are all very well aware, we now have over 110 phase 1 maps approved by the curriculum committee and published on the website. We have also launched SMC GPS, Gateway to Persistence and Success. The early results of using this tool are impressive, and you'll be hearing more about GPS from Lori, Greg, and Janet very shortly. This tool is a potential game changer in making the significant inroads into eliminating our racial equity gaps, precisely because it facilitates holistic support for students at scale, something that a college the size of SMC cannot do without a tech tool such as this.
And to balance out this tech tool with high touch, that's that relational aspect and that piece that Mike alluded to in his opening remarks for this session. We have the Peer Navigator program in place for 3 of our areas of interest: STEM, business, health, and wellness. We have our peer navigators are a key component of our vision for student care teams for our Black and Latinx first time in college students. The Peer Navigator program launched in fall 2022, and a special shout out to Deidre Bly, who's been leading that effort. And it launched for the arts, media, and entertainment, culture, history, and languages, and the people and society areas of interest.
Or it will launch in fall 22.
I'm sorry, that's right.
Let's see. We have also accomplished much in terms of what Mike was talking about earlier, front-loading career counseling, including engaging in direct proactive outreach to quote unquote undecided students, and an exciting new approach on career exploration integrated into many English 1 sections. The involvement of our students in the redesign gained statewide recognition. One of our students, Joshua Alizando, who's our current AS president, also served on the Chancellor's Office Guided Pathways Advisory Committee. Our Connections survey is sent to all new first-time in college students. Pre-pandemic fall, we received roughly 2,000 responses, and in just over 1,000 cases, we were able to directly reach out to students to offer support, referrals, and information. And the opening of the new Student Services building presented the opportunity to collectively begin building stronger community, not only among students, but also among all of us, faculty, staff, and administrators. To this end, we had Dr. Karen Gunn lead several person-first trainings, community building activities, and equity training for SSC-based employees.
This past fall, as was already noted earlier in this session, we launched EGC, an at-scale multi-semester, multi-dimensional professional development program that is open to all faculty, that you will be hearing more of course, from our co-faculty leads, Drs. Deloche and Dowd, later in this presentation. We had over 140 faculty participate in the first cohort, which began this past fall, and we have about the same number in the second cohort, which began this spring. We also made some strides in several efforts supporting both English and math faculty teaching our first college level courses in these disciplines to professional learning communities or PLCs, as well as other equity based projects. Academic Affairs is engaging in a rigorous review of the scheduling practices and is developing an inventory of ideas and initiatives, including exploring different time and day patterns, looking at time scheduling to student educational plans, just as it was mentioned earlier by one of our panelists. I think if I remember her name correctly, Catalina was sharing, how important it is to have classes that students need when they need them, as well as, moving forward with us. Student preference kind of scheduling. So I think her comments really hit home for a lot of us. And conducting student enrollment observations and surveys is also being engaged in Academic Affairs. And of course, the move to remote instruction required some significant efforts in an attempt to equitize that modality.
And finally, according to our latest catalog, our 166 academic and career paths are now organized into 7 areas of interest. These areas of interest are accessible from our homepage, and the AOIs were first unveiled to students at VIP Welcome Day in fall 2019, which also included for the very first time our area of interest open houses.
So I think President Jeffrey noted in her general session remarks how if there was an applause button, right, or an applause sound that we could generate for this. But congratulations to all of us. We all make up SMC. We should all be giving ourselves a round of applause because everyone here made this possible, including all of our students and our classified staff. This would not be possible with all the work that we all been putting towards this. And these are just some of the pieces that SMC has accomplished along our journey to transformation.
The next phase, given the isolating pandemic, the social climate that was referred to earlier this morning, and the reality of continuing and expanding distance ed, is the importance, indeed growing importance, of a sense of belonging for our students. Perhaps you noticed that we ended the list of accomplishments with one that was actually the first one we achieved. That is areas of interest, or what was originally called meta majors. But really, we only accomplished part of the goal. We have organized our programs into areas of interest, but we haven't yet built the support and community within those AOIs that Mike was referring to earlier.
So we want to build this sense of belonging while also engaging in proactive, holistic, intentional support. We want students to feel engaged and connected to their peers, to their program and faculty, to their why are they at SMC, and to the college at large. In the interest of increasing retention and persistence, SMC needs to, and I think we all recognize this, to prioritize this community building effort for students, in particular, in light of the continuing pandemic-induced isolation that I know was also referenced in many of the student comments earlier today, that will likely, unfortunately, be with us for some time in terms of this isolation, and therefore comes at a most important time right now to really focus on and prioritizing holistic support and a sense of belonging.
So the next few slides are a bit of an overview of this vision of AOI communities. AOI communities will create the structure to develop and strengthen relationships. As I said earlier, we want all of our students to feel as connected to each other, to the college, to our programs as the students in the panel this morning. These communities will operationalize and actualize SMC's commitment to equity through the practices of anti-racism and a culturally responsive approach. As Mike said, we want to move from the transactional to relational. Each of the 7 areas of interest will be designed to engage and connect students, to foster relationships and a sense of belonging and community, and to facilitate and proactively encourage progress at and beyond SMC.
Apologies. Within each AOI community are the student care teams, which are specifically designed for our Black and Latinx students. Each student care team will have these additional resources listed here on the screen: peer navigators, a proactive case management approach led by our student care team, coaches, which is a student services specialist that just came on board. We have financial aid. We will have a financial aid point of contact, as well as a direct health and wellness point of contact for our students in our student care teams. In the interest of moving at scale from transactional and relational and providing anti-racist and culturally responsive approaches, these three efforts, GPS, EGC, and AOI communities, will be working in tandem to transform the SMC student experience. And in a minute, as we mentioned earlier, the GPS team and the EGC team will be sharing more. But now we also want to share with you a bit more about our AOI communities and their benefits to students and to faculty.
So here is a one-page flyer describing the area of interest communities. I'm supposed to say this is available now on the redesign website, but I forgot to post it. So after this, I will post this on the redesign website, which is smc.edu/redesign. But we're going to sort of be reviewing this now for you.
So we're going to focus on how this, our intention for how students will benefit from the AOI communities as well as faculty. So in terms of students, we hope will create connections with their peer, cohort, and learning communities and regularly interact with instructors, counselor staff, and experienced peers, such as their peer navigators. They'll feel comfortable. Hopefully they're going to feel comfortable and empowered to seek assistance from their designated success team, which will include faculty, counselors, peers, and other student service providers. And that students will obtain student-centric, equity-minded, personalized support, including AOI tailored communications and programming, and that they will hopefully better understand how their chosen pathway integrates with their life and career goals, as well as serve as a primary support resource for them to achieve their self-defined goals, whatever that may be here at SMC.
And in terms of faculty, here are the expected benefits of AOI communities. Faculty will be supported in how to assist students to successfully complete their chosen pathway. They'll be better supported, as well as how it integrates into the student's life and career goals. We expect it to foster a stronger sense of community with other faculty in their AOI, build stronger relationships between instructional and counseling faculty. There's a session, a 3 to 4 p.m. session entitled Putting the People Together, Powerful Partnership Between Instructional and Counseling Faculty. I would encourage you to check that out, because the more that we can break down those silos, the better it is for our students. And then, of course, faculty will be able to offer a warm handoff of students to various support services through greater connection and relationships. We are actively working to bring the structure of AOI communities to fruition in time to welcome our new students this coming fall. There's lots of work to do, but we can do it. Please keep your eye out for the ways that you can help to develop and build the AOI communities to better support our students.
So we want to deeply thank you for your time today, as well as your efforts in this work to transform SMC to better serve our students. As noted on this slide, please feel free to email us or check out our website. And now I'd like to introduce Greg, Lori, and Janet to share more about GPS, and they will be followed by our EGC co-faculty leads.
Yes, thank you so much, Maria and Greg. Good morning, everybody. Happy Flex Day. My name is Janet Robinson. I'm the Interim Dean of Counseling here at SMC and the #1 cheerleader for GPS. I was teasing yesterday, those of you who know about 80s rap, I said I'm the Flavor Flav of GPS. I'm the hype man for GPS. But I'm hoping that many of you are already familiar with GPS, but it is an online platform that SMC has been using since spring 2020 to support the success and retention of our students. I really love this year's Flex Day theme of putting the pieces together, because in my opinion, that's exactly what GPS does. GPS is a platform that allows all of us to come together to help support students. When I say all of us, I mean, from classified professionals, faculty, both instructional and counseling, as well as students, of course, they're the cornerstone of this. We all come together to just rally around our students and help them be successful and persist. As has already been shared, I'm joined by Lori Williams and Greg Brookins, who are our amazing GPS ambassador co-leads. But before I turn it over to them, I just wanted to share some of our successes with GPS thus far that we're really proud of. And I'm going to talk really fast because I'm looking at the time and I want to make sure everybody gets a chance to go. So first of all, GPS is our current early alert tool, which, by the way, for those of you who don't know, that's a way for instructional faculty to kind of put a spotlight on students that might be experiencing challenges in their classroom. But GPS is so much more, capable of so much more than just being an early alert tool. Another thing that faculty can do is give kudos to a student, let them know how great they're doing in the class, or refer them out to other resources available on campus, like meeting with an academic counselor or referring them to tutoring. So we're very proud that this is a robust tool that can be used to touch students at wherever they are along their experience here at SMC. Another great perk of GPS is that students can raise their own hand within the platform if they want to communicate questions that they're having or some challenges that they're experiencing. And when they do that, someone's going to reach out to them and/or information is going to be shared with them. So we're very proud of the fact that GPS allows for information and resources to flow to students in multiple ways. And that's really important since we want to try to keep them connected and help build that sense of community. And lastly, another GPS accomplishment that we're proud of is our partnering with people across campus, specifically the EGC team leaders. We've had several meetings with EGC team leads to talk about how we can cross-market both of our tools so that we can help educate students, faculty, and staff on how these two tools complement each other and how they're just going to provide additional support and resources to our students. I also have some data that I wanted to share that was provided by our amazing institutional research team just to quantify some of the GPS successes. So give me a thumbs up if you can see this, panelists. Can you see that? Excellent, thank you. As you can see on this first slide, the persistence rate from fall 2020 to spring 2021 was 66% for first-time SMC students who did not use GPS, compared to the 92% persistence rate for first-time students who did utilize GPS. So it just goes to show that GPS is working, and that's something that we're very proud of. The second slide looks at the persistence rates by GPS use for the entire SMC campus, but also disaggregates by Black and Latinx students specifically. What this chart shows us again is that students who use GPS persist at higher rates compared to students who do not. And this is also true for our Black and Latinx students that we're working so hard to help provide support services for. But we need to increase the number of students who are touched by GPS. And that's where all of you come in. So please, please, please help us spread the gospel of GPS. And before I pass it off to Lori and Greg, I want to thank everyone who's currently utilizing GPS and call in those of you who haven't quite leaned into it yet to please do so. It's making a difference. Thanks so much. And I'm going to pass it off to Lori Williams now.
All right, good morning, everybody. So as you know, my name is Lori Williams. For those of you that I haven't met, I am the lead counselor for GPS, as well as one of the co-lead ambassadors, along with Greg Brookins. I took a peek at some of the names in the chat, and I see we have some very active users of GPS here, so I'm really excited to see that, and some that have attended all of our multiple trainings as well. And as we were putting this presentation together, I realized I think we've done a pretty decent job of explaining how GPS works for faculty, but not so much for students. So considering this is student focused, I did want to spend just a couple minutes showing you what it looks like for students to use GPS. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So if you decide to use it, and we hope that you do, then you'll get an idea of what you're getting your students into. And for some reason, it looks like I'm not able to share my Chrome, so I'll just jump onto my PowerPoint. 1 second. All right, can everybody see this? Yes, awesome. For some reason, when I'm on Zoom, it really slows down my computer, so bear with me. So when a student logs into GPS, this is what they see. We've really tried to make it visually appealing for students, because some of the feedback we've gotten from instructors is, GPS isn't very intuitive. It's not pretty to look at. Well, the student version, I personally think, is a lot prettier. It's more visually appealing. It's very well organized. So when a student logs in, they'll see their connections here. And what the connections mean, it's just their instructors, their counselors, anyone they have a connection with. And then below that, they have their services. So if they're looking to connect with a specific service, they can just log in here. They can click on these 3 dots here, and they will have the option to navigate directly to each student or each service's website, their contact information, or if they're on a mobile device, they can go straight to call and it will call that specific service. So really user-friendly. The other cool thing that you can do through GPS that I was hoping to demonstrate, but for some reason my Chrome is not coming up as an option for share screen, so I'll just try to verbally explain it, is if a student needs support, wants to talk to a counselor, wants to talk to financial aid, wants more information about basic needs, there are ways to do that, or a way to do that, I should say. So if the student navigates here to these 3 parallel lines, they'll get a drop-down menu, and there's a feature called Raise Your Hand. So if the student selects that, they will have multiple items they can choose from, like I need to speak with an academic counselor. 9 times out of 10, it'll be me reaching out to them. But that kind of puts the responsibility on the services to then directly reach out to the students and address whatever it is the student wants help with. The other thing that they can do is actually schedule office hours with their instructors directly through GPS. So you'll see what it looks like here. Actually, let me go back previous screen. So let's pretend we have Stacy Jones here. Hi, Stacy. I saw you in here somewhere. But let's pretend Stacy had office hours. So the student would just go to the 3 parallel lines. This menu would pop up, and now Stacy has turned into Mike. So if the student, again, goes through the 3 parallel lines, they can find ways to view the profile, email, or schedule directly within GPS. Now, if you are an instructor, that means you do have to set up your office hours, and we'd be happy to walk you through that and how to do it, but it's very easy for students to navigate that. Once they hit schedule, they'll have the options here of, do they want to schedule office hours, discuss grades, review exam or assignments, and then look at the calendar with the hours that have been previously set up by the instructor. Now, one of the things that I know we've really been pushing is to create your profiles. Some of you may have seen those emails going out multiple times, but this is why. This is an instructor. We remove the contact information, who has not done anything with their profile. There's no picture, there's no information other than instructor, send email. Again, we're trying to go for visually appealing. Mike did a beautiful job over here of, putting his little picture. You don't have to use your own picture if you wanted to use just some sort of setting that represents you, like a picture of your puppy, your kitty, the beach, whatever it is, something that you feel represents who you are. You can upload that. Create a bio here. If you want to include your office hours, that's helpful too. And this is an option where students can go to schedule appointment right in the profile. It's a great way to build rapport. Instructors who use this feature have great things to say about it. So that's what it looks like from the student's perspective. Again, we're going for easy to use, visually appealing, and hopefully we've accomplished those goals. So I'll turn it over to Greg at this point.
Great. Thanks, Lori. Now, let's talk about the instructors and the counseling faculty and their roles in terms of being a key piece of this student experience. We know that, you're spending that time with the students. Those of you that are back in person, you may be able to see just by how they enter the classroom what may be going on. If you're online with them, you may be seeing that they need a loaner, Chromebook or things like that. There are things that we see, and that's what GPS allows us to do, is in a scalable way to reach out and have those contact points. The students feel valued. I've touched base. I'll let you know my quick story, and then I want to turn it over to Shantae. I was just a user about 2 years. That doesn't sound good, does it? I used GPS 2 years ago, and literally I sent a message to a student who wasn't doing well at all, and the response was, "Thank you for caring about me and my education." And so that made me an instant believer about the GPS system and how it affects our students. And so we do a lot of evaluation as professors. That's what we do. But what I'm going to challenge us all to do is to reach a little deeper. And I know we all have got 20 things on a list right now, and this is one more thing. But I'm telling you, for our students, it does matter. It's not just an email, it's a feeling of how our students feel when they get that email. It's not just clicking the boxes on the survey, it's making our students feel like I belong here because this professor said that I belong here, or they feel that I belong here. And so that's what I want us to really dig deep on. And it's hard. I know it's hard for us all. But in terms of that feedback, there's so many things that we can do in terms of the grades and all of that. But if we're able to pull the various tools together that are already housed in GPS, I'm hoping that it's going to make a difference to our students. Now, in keeping with this theme today of pulling the pieces together, I'm going to finish with this. Like Brian's family, our family was a holiday, we used to do 1,000-piece puzzles. So you'd be working all day and it looked like you did nothing. But let me tell you something. In putting together the pieces, we also have to pull together the pieces. Okay, you see what I did there? Putting together the pieces, we're pulling together all of these pieces. So we're pulling together kudos and flags and referrals, and we're pulling them together in a way that makes sense, hopefully, to our students and to our users who really do need that. And hopefully in doing that, we can have an impact on the students that will go beyond just us sending things out, but we'll keep them connected to this college for a long time. I'm selling that. Please come by. We're going to be in workshop from 2 to 3 p.m. Lori and I will be leading it. I think some of our ambassadors will join us. They're awesome. We give one-on-one instruction for people that feel maybe a little bit busy or whatever, but we look forward to seeing you. And again, we really honestly thank you for just considering. For those of you that love it, thank you. For those of you that have problems, we come by, meetings, we'll meet you, we'll go have coffee with you, all that kind of stuff. But we want to make sure that if you want to use it or you want to try, we're available. Thank you very much. I'm going to throw it Shantae's way.
Hello, everyone. Tiffany and I are here to just provide some really brief updates for EGC. I don't know how we go after the Flavor Flav of GPS, I think is who Janet is now. But good to see everybody. Let's go ahead and get started. You all probably know us by now. I'm still Shantae, still serving as co-lead for EGC. Tiffany.
Hello, everyone. Tiffany Dow, counseling faculty and EGC co-lead as well. Welcome.
We want to just provide a quick update. I know we're almost at time, and give folks an overview of what's going on in EGC. Tiffany?
Yes, so we first want to start off by acknowledging our new cohort 2, departments and equity coaches. So just to kind of list off real quick, we have business with Greg Brookins. Hi, Greg. Communications and media studies, Ashanti Blaze Hopkins. Counseling, Vanessa Bonilla. CSIS, Janan Darwish. Dance, Marissa Moreno. Education ECE, Kena Mosley. English, Jessica Krug and Erica Anuga. ESL, Jessup Yenser. Health Sciences, Veronica Iselas. History, Marisol Moreno. Kinesiology and Athletics, Lydia Strong. Math, Kristen Ross. Philosophy and Social Sciences, Rebecca Romo. Psychology, Seth Anderson, and Theater Arts, Crystal Robbins. And so we're so excited and grateful to add more EGC coaches and participants to this campus-wide movement. And so again, thank you all, both our cohort 2 and cohort 1 departments and equity coaches.
So cohort 2, as Tiffany mentioned, includes the departments that she just highlighted with equity coaches. We have about 140 participants, with communication and media studies leading the way with 16, business is a close second, and philosophy and social sciences. Shout out to my department, psychology, for representing well for a small but mighty department. I also want to just note that that both English and math departments have 2 cohorts because of their size and all of the particular initiatives happening within those departments. And so we're really appreciative that we were able to coordinate 2 cohorts for both English and math. In addition, I'm not sure that you can see because of the color here on this slide, but we have pretty equal amounts of part-time associate faculty and full-time tenured faculty. We are appreciative of the ongoing support to be also able to include our non-associate faculty and our probationary faculty. And then we also have a good representation of department chairs who are also participating. And go ahead.
Go ahead. And we wanted to go ahead and give you all a quick overview of semester 1 cohort 2. Currently, we are, we started off with our FLLCs, our Faculty Lifelong Learning Consortiums, which is our EGC's professional development, which started with Dr. Jeff Duncan Andrade and will continue with Dr. Frank Harris. EG participants are also have completed their phase 1 critical reflections weeks 1 through 4, and are starting phase 2 Black and Latinx student experiences weeks 5 through 8. Equity coach meetings are 2 times a month, and their ETAC meetings are 2 per phase.
And then just as a quick snapshot, our first cohort that started last semester, the party did not stop. Rather, we are applying what was learned in semester 1, and folks are beginning to transform courses, and we're really excited about that. We're bringing another speaker in May. We are not at liberty yet to announce who that person is, but we're really excited, and we really believe that this is going to be another great person to contribute to the EGC speaker series. Our participants just completed phase 4, focusing on meaningful engagement and belonging, especially how to engage and create that environment of belonging and safety at the beginning of semester. And this week, they're starting on equity-centered pedagogies and really focusing on the course that they're going to be transforming. We're meeting with the equity coaches monthly, and the ETAGs have already met twice now. Last slide, Tiffany, or next slide. And then looking ahead, I mentioned that at the end of this semester, cohort 1 will have majorly transformed a course, working individually and collectively with colleagues in their Equity to Action group who are teaching the same or similar courses. And they're going to be making progress on their equity-centered action plans that they developed at the end of last semester. And then looking ahead to semester 3, faculty will have the opportunity to begin implementing changes and receiving feedback on those changes. Although we've heard from folks about changes that they've already begun implementing, from the syllabus to establishing relationships. And then, as I mentioned, just more dynamic presenters in the EGC speaker series. Please check out the updated website for Direct Connect. Tiffany and Silvana and the team have been working hard to ensure that Direct Connect remains a good resource for students and faculty alike. And then lastly, we have an upcoming article that will be highlighting EGC alongside some other community colleges that are trying to advance racial equity work. And then I just want to mention our afternoon session at 1 o'clock, where we are inviting both of our cohorts, cohort 1 and 2, to come together, hear from Black and Latinx students, as well as faculty across disciplines and areas of interest about their equity-centered practices. So this should be an exciting conversation, but also an opportunity to learn about actual practices, things that people are doing in the classroom.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
So we want to thank all of you for joining us today, and that you continue to join us for the remaining day. I know that both GPS and EGC shared with you in their presentation that they will be hosting sessions. So I really encourage you to join both of those. And please stay connected with us. You can email us, you can go to our websites, and hope you have a wonderful, safe, and healthy spring semester.